Okay. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Good morning. Glad to be with you. We are beginning with song. We're going to start on page 186.
Moteani lifanecha melech v'kayam shehechezarta binishmati bechemla rabba emunatecha moteani lifanecha melech v'kayam shehechezarta binishmati bechemla rabba emunatecha rabba emunatecha.
On page 192, we're continuing to get warmed up. We share Ma Tovu, 192.
Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Vani birov chazdecha avo betecha eshtachave el chachal kodshecha v'yiratecha ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Adonai ahavti me'on beitecha u'mekom mishkan kevotecha. Vani eshachave ve'echra v'chalivne Adonai osi. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Vani tefilati lecha Adonai et ratzon Elohim birov chazdecha aneni be'emet yishecha. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael.
This morning's service is reliant upon the participation of our students in particular. And so as we continue on page 198 with the morning blessings, are there any who would like to come and help Grant and me lead it? Yeah, Judah, come on up. Anyone else who's going to have a bar mitzvah on the horizon, bat mitzvah? Yes, please. Good. Ryan, come on up. You've been voluntold. Good. Look at this. Nice. We're on page 198 and following. Right. Should we start? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan l'sek v'ivina lavchin ben yom u'ben layla.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asuri.
Amen. Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufim.
Amen. Page 200. Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokah haaretz al hamayim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechin mitzadei gaver.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanoten leyaif koach.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tzelem Elohim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani ben chorin.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozel Yisrael b'gvura.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'tifara.
Amen. On the top of page 204, the blessing over study, we sing as sweet as honey.
Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Baruch atah, Baruch atah, Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu, b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, לעסוק דברי תורה, לעסוק דברי תורה. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue.
We jump to 226. We're going to have you stay up here. There we find the Baruch Hu, for which we rise and face the ark.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. la la la, ya la 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 la.
You may be seated. You all should stay. Page 232 and 3. We'll face the congregation. Here we go.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
We turn the page.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavavcha uvechavshecha uvechol meotecha vehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha Hayom alevavecha, vishinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, b'shivtecha b'veitecha, uvlechtecha v'aderech, uvshochbecha uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot beinenecha. וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים לחיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Thank you. That you all have a seat. You've earned it. We continue with Mi Chamocha, page 240.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות תוסף אלה, נורא תהילות תוסף אלה. שירה חדשה, שירה חדשה, שירו גאולים, בשמך שפת הים. יחד כולם הודו וימלכו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד צור ישראל קומה בעזרת ישראל ובטחנו ממך יהודה וישראל גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו קדוש ישראל ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We turn to page 242 for the opening verse of Amidah, and we rise.
Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 svatai tiftach. Na 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 ufi yagid tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Anana svatai tiftach. Anana ufi agid. Ufi agid tehilatecha. Anana Adonai. Anana svatai tiftach. Anana ufi agid. Ufi agid tehilatecha.
Page 244.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chazdei Avot V'imaot, U'mevi Geulah Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah.
246.
Ata gibor le'olam Adonai, mechaye hakol ata rav le'hoshia, morid hatal, mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim ve'rofei cholim, Umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, lishenei afar, micha mocha bal gevurot, umido melach, melech memit umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua. V'ne'eman atah la'achayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hakol.
248.
Tikadesh et shimcha ba'olam Keshem shemakdishim oto b'shmei marom Kakatuv al yad nevi'echa V'kara zel ze ve'amar Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh Adonai Tzivaot Meloch haaretz Kivoto Adir, Adirenu Adonai, Adonenu Madir Shimcha B'chol haaretz Baruch Kivod Adonai Mimkomo Echad hu Eloheinu Hu Avinu Malkeinu Hu Moshienu Vehu Yashmienu Berachamav Leinei Kol Chai Ani Adonai Elohechem Yimloch Adonai Leolam Elohai Tzion Ledor Vador Hallelujah Ledor Vador Nagi God Lecha ולנצח נצחים קדושת חג נקדיש ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש
continue silently. You may be seated when you are done. Page 258.
Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Chen v'chesed v'rachamim Chen v'chesed v'rachamim Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael Amecha Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha
The heart of our Shabbat morning service is the reading of Torah. The service for reading our Torah begins on page 362. And it's my privilege to welcome back to the Bima those who were with us earlier to help us take the Torahs, carry the Torahs, bring them to the people. Page 362. Won't you open the ark and won't you please rise?
Ein kamocha be'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein kema'asecha, malchutecha malchut kol amim, umemsheltecha bechol dor v'ador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Av harachamim hetiv avitzoncha et Zion. Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim. Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, kivecha levad batachnu, melech el ram v'nisa, Adon olamim.
364.
Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, Utevar Adonai Mirushalayim
366.
Baruch Shetatan Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Le'amo Yisrael B'Du'ato Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo Gadlul Adonai iti uneromema shemo yachdav lecha Adonai hagidula v'hagivura v'hatiferet v'hanetzach v'hahod Kicho b'shamayim u'va'aretz Kicho b'shamayim u'va'aretz Lecha Adonai hamamlacha ve'amid na'aseh lechol erosh Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'yishtachavu lehar kosho Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'yishtachavu lehar kosho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'yishtachavu lehar kosho Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'yishtachavu lehar kosho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu
Thank you for that help. Our Torah portion this week is actually a double portion. You may remember, but here's a little refresher. There are 54 Torah portions. Each one is assigned to a respective week. We know there are 52 weeks in our calendar, in the Gregorian calendar. In the Hebrew calendar, which is solar and lunar, it deserves more time than I have to devote to it this morning. In order to account for the leap year, in 9 of every 17 years, an additional month is inserted. When the additional month shows up, every Torah portion gets its own week. On those years where there's not the additional month, there are 8 Torah portions. There are 4 weeks on which we read double portions. This is one of those years where there's not the additional month. There's not what we call Adar 2. There's a month of Adar. There's a second month of Adar in those years that had that additional calculation. And so the double portion is called Tazria. It's paired with Mitzorah. Tazria is a infectious, contagious disease. Mitzorah is that person or object or house, all kinds of different physical things manifest this Tazria. If you have Tazria, you are Mitzorah. That is, that you are one who has this condition. And so that's the nature of it. It's an uncomfortable set of portions because it's describing medical conditions, and there's bodily secretions and all kinds of wounds that are described and infections. What the rabbis do is something very clever. The rabbis in the Talmudic period, they treat the word Mitzorah, thank you. They treat the word Mitzorah as what's called a portmanteau. Anyone know the word portmanteau? No, I bet you do. You just don't know you know the name for it. A portmanteau is a word that's created by sort of smushing two words together. And that combination makes for what we call a portmanteau. Can you think of one? Smog. Smoke and fog make smog. So the word smog is itself a portmanteau. Sort of a fancy, a very long word to describe the contraction of two other words to make something smaller. You can come up with some other, what's another good one? Spork. Brunch. Right? See how it works? Okay, there's a portmanteau. They take the word mitzora and say that it's a portmanteau or an abbreviation for motzi, as in motzi lechem min haaretz. Motzi is the one who brings forth. Motzi, shem ra, which means a bad name. So motzi ra motsora is how they come up with this idea from this word mitzora, which means that which is contagious or that which contains the contagion. They treat that as mitzora, as motzi shem ra, which means to shout or to draw forth a bad name. And they identify that scourge or that infection as, anyone know this tradition? Oh, it's lovely. They describe it as gossip, or what in Hebrew is called lashon hara. That when we engage in gossip, and we'll talk about what that category includes, it can spread like a contagion. And one should be careful when you're contagious or when someone else has an infection that could spread. You should be careful. So too should we be careful. We're admonished about using our lips, our tongues to spread falsehoods or to create innuendo or to do anything that's in this large, broad, really interesting category called lashon hara or gossip, slander, misinformation, those kinds of things. If you wish to follow along with us, Grant and I, we're doing the Hebrew. Grant will give us the translation aloud linearly, but if you wish to follow along, it's in the Torah commentaries, which you may find at your seats, and we're reading from Leviticus 14.
The cart in the back.
It's in the cart. Thank you. And so we're looking for page 846 in that book. The blessings before the reading,
368, I believe.
368, so they are. So the idea of doing the Torah reading down on this table is both to make it that much more accessible, but also to provide an opportunity for anyone who wishes to gather around or to see the Torah itself or to share in the blessings to come up. So it's not a command performance, but if you'd like, or if you're anticipating a bar bat mitzvah on the horizon and you'd like to have a moment to practice the blessings, we invite you to come up. So if you know your bar mitzvah date and you anticipate it before the end of the year, 368.
9-5.
It's coming up.
The answer of a yacht. I'm use this as a yacht.
Frothy.
Oh, you did. We have a yacht. All right, 368. Great. All right, our blessings before. Here we go. Ready?
Baruch hu et Adonai hamborach. Baruch Adonai hamborach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamborach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayidaber Adonai el Moshe ve'el Aharon lemor.
The Eternal spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying,
Ki tevo'o el aretz Canaan asher ani noten lechem la'achuzah v'natati negat sara'at achuzatem.
when you enter the land of Canaan, which I am giving to you as a possession, and I place an affliction of Tizarat in a house in the land you hold.
Uvo asher lo habait v'hagid lakohen lemor kenega nireh li babait.
The owner of the house shall come and tell the priest, saying, something like an affliction has appeared in my house.
V'tziva hakohen ufnu et habait b'terem iva hakohen lirot et hanegah v'lo yitamei kol asher babait.
Then the priest shall order a house to be emptied before he comes to examine the affliction, so that nothing in the house may become impure.
V'achar kein ivo hakohen lirot et habayit.
Afterward, the priest shall come to examine the house.
Good. We'll share the blessings after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Thank you. I'm going to have you back to help us dress the Torah, but you may be seated. While the Torah is out, we'll share Misha Barach, our prayer for healing, which may be found on page 371. Right. Thank you. 371. We share the Misha Barach, our prayer for healing, mindful of all those in our own families who are not well or in need of healing, hope, respite, and peace, as well as those around the world who also are in need of prayer and hope. We share names that have been provided, and then if you wish to share names, you may do so also. We're mindful of Joshua Waxman and Judy Musgrave, Judy Maglin, and Barry Rodwick, Georgia Maxon, Marie Simone, Judy Maglin, Andrea Conlon, Lauren Hogg, Rita Garvey, Mary McFadden, John Jacobs, Bill Frank, and Sharon Donlin. Are there other names? Misha Barak? Okay.
Misha Barak Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishe beber imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirits, and let us say Amen.
So I want to explore this a little bit with you, this idea that the plague, the contagion that's described in the Torah, but addressed in the Torah portion, is to be understood, or we're invited to understand it not as a physical condition, but as Officer Krepke, who was in West, says we've got a problem, right? We've got two lashon hara. You know that phrase? What lashon hara means? It tend to means gossip, but lashon, as in a mama lashon is tongue, or refers to speech, and ra is bad or evil, as opposed to tov, which is good. So lashon hora or lashon hara is evil speech. That's the concept. It's a large category, but when we speak of it, we're talking about it now. What do we mean by lashon hara or gossip? Can you give me a couple examples of different types of things that might fall into that category of the kind of speech we're encouraged to avoid engaging in? Yeah. Bad-mouthing, right? Talking smack about other folk. Okay, good. That's certainly a category of gossip or lashon hara. What else? Yes?
Saying something you don't know that you should really share.
Oh, maybe you have information that isn't widely known or isn't yours to share about someone else's story. That's their story to tell. Or you get ahead of someone, you know something secret's upcoming, a party or whatever it may be. Or something that's even more personal, and you choose to share it with a third person. We have one more example of what might qualify. You got to do it hard. One more example. We had that bad mouthing. We said saying things that are not yours to share. Is one more category of what we mean by lashon hara, or gossip, or bad talk. Saying false things. Saying things that are not true, and putting them out there as if they are. Now, I don't want to go into where social media and all of those ideas about the kind of things, but I want to offer you this. The rabbis are discussing gossip, and they proffer this idea that when we engage in gossip, or when we think about the act of gossip, everyone understand the word gossip? We all know that word? That there are three parties, three persons involved in that. There's the person who says it, there's the person who hears it, and then there's the person about whom we're speaking. They're not in the room, right? There are three people, the speaker, the listener, and the one about whom we're talking. And the rabbis discuss who is most hurt, who is most wounded by gossip. Who do you imagine of those three is most wronged? The person we are talking about would be the obvious guess. The person who hears it is also a good contender. We know that the person who speaks has done something wrong, right? That we can pretty quickly agree. If gossip is bad, then the person who spreads the gossip is clearly doing something wrong. The rabbi suggests that as hurt as is the person about whom we're speaking, this person that I work with over here that you don't know yet, but I'm going to tell you about them, that person is certainly wrong because misinformation or false information or information that's theirs and not mine to tell, they're wounded by that. But the rabbi suggests that the person who hears the gossip is also wounded, and perhaps most of all, because your innocence is stolen from you. That you didn't know about something was just fine. It wasn't for you to know about. But now that you've heard it, your impression or your image of that person, your understanding, is now changed. And we've denied something. This person who gossiped hurt the person about whom we're speaking, but has also done a wrong to the person to whom they're speaking. Because as a result, I've taken something from you, which is to say, maybe just your open mind. The next person who's going to walk through the door, I'm going to tell you about them before they come in from the parking lot. I give you something to know about them. You can't not know it. And now as you greet them, you don't have a blank slate, or you don't have an open mind, or you know something that the other, you follow me? It's really a clever insight. And so the idea is that when you think or you feel the impulse to pull someone aside and whisper something in their ear about another person, that you're doing two things that are wrong. One, you're hurting the person about talking, and you're doing something wrong to the person you consider your friend who you're sharing the information with, because you're taking something from them. It's a kind of theft in giving them something that replaces whatever impression or no impression that they had. I think it's just such an interesting way to understand what's going on. And so we have a responsibility, the mission continues, to not only not engage in bad talk, and we all think to ourselves, well, surely I don't do that very often. I'm pretty good about not talking about others, but we also should be mindful and wary of listening to such talk, because we're changed thereby. It's a very broad category. There are whole treatises, large books written about what qualifies as gossip and when you can say something about someone else. There are categories where you can warn someone if they're going to be entering into an agreement or something dangerous. They need the information. It can be weighed against the harm that it will cause. But the upshot is that we shouldn't be talking about each other to others, even going so far as to suggest that when we say something that we would imagine is a compliment, Grant got a brand new car yesterday. It's not true. That's patently not true. Unless I know something you don't even know?
Not that I'm aware of.
Right. Grant doesn't have a new car. But if I told you that he bought a new car and you know that he owes you money, and now I've given you some information that you think would be exciting, and why would he mind me telling you that he bought a new car, but he owes someone else money? I might have stepped into something whereby damage is done. You follow me? And so the idea is we should avoid scrupulously, really work hard at not talking about other people. I encourage you to try it for the day. It's not easy. It's not easy. We're social creatures. We talk. That's how we share information. That's how we bond with each other. That's how we do all kinds of things by deepening the relationship as we share information, particularly if I have information that maybe you'll appreciate or enjoy but don't already have. But that we try very hard not to speak about others because it changes people's ideas, people's opinions. We can say more. Any other thoughts about Lashon Hara or gossip or why it's so pernicious? I'll tell you then a final story. There's a certain individual in the community who engages in gossip, likes to tell stories, all kinds of stories. Some are true, some are not true. Some are his own stories about his experiences with other people, and some are stories about other people that they didn't know they're being shared. He engages in all the activities that we were describing. He was talking, bad mouthing. He was sharing information that wasn't his, sharing lies that aren't true, all kinds of things. And so he's called in front of the rabbi, and the rabbi wants to impress upon him how serious this problem of gossip is. And so he says, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go home and take one of your pillows. It was a feather pillow. Pillows used to be stuffed, maybe you still have some in your home, but pillows used to be stuffed with feathers. And that's what made for the soft pillow. So in the middle of the city and cut open the pillow and scatter all the feathers just into the wind, shake the pillow out, let all the feathers go, and then come back to me. So the man goes home, he gets his pillow, he goes in the middle of town square, he slices it open, he scatters all the feathers around, and he goes back and asks the rabbi, okay, I've done it, now what do I do? The rabbi says, we now need to go back out to the middle of this town square and collect all the feathers, then bring them back to me. The man says, there's no way I can collect all those feathers. They've been scattered everywhere. They've flown away. I can't collect all those feathers. The rabbi says, you see, it's the same thing with gossip. It's the same thing. Once you put your words out there, they have a life of their own. They begin to travel to other people. Have you ever had a secret with one other person you shared with a third? And pretty soon you're surprised to learn how many people are aware of the piece of information you thought was going to be treasured and prized and protected. You can't collect all the feathers, and so too when we let our words go forth or we spread misinformation. This now again reference social media, the internet, how fast, rich tradition of encouraging us to mind what we say, what we hear, and to be cognizant of how it hurts ourselves and others. Okay, let's turn back to prayer books as we prepare to address the ark. I need a few young people to help me. So if you would join me back here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Won't you please rise as we lift the Torah?
Vizot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai v'yad Moshe. 374. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom. Shalom, shalom, Eitz Chaim, Ilema Chazik, Kema V'Tomecha, Meushar, Eitz Chaim, Ilema Chazik, Kema V'Tomecha, Meushar.